Good evening, everybody. Bob Fitzgerald, Brave Haven Media. We are glad that you are here with us tonight. This is part 7 of our 7-part series on earthquake preparedness. Now, this series was a series of 7 brief episodes, and in fact, the entire 7 episodes is probably less than an hour and a half total running time. And you can watch them on our website at www.bravehaven.com, or you can go to Ustream, or you can follow us on Facebook, or you can go to the West Valley City Fire blogspot.com and watch us there. We hope that everybody has learned something, and as I mentioned, this has not been an all-inclusive type of a video broadcast of these things. It's just a thing for you to get some dialogue and discussion going in your families so that you and yours will be safer when it comes to earthquake preparedness. We would like to thank at this time West Valley City Fire Department. They have been a great sponsor for this series on earthquake safety, and we're so grateful for them to let us work with them on this project. We're broadcasting live from our studios in Murray, Utah, and anytime you've got something that you would like to broadcast, we would like to talk to you. We can help get your message out to a worldwide audience, or to a local audience, or to a very intimate audience where they have to log in and have a password to view your video message or your video conference. We've talked about a lot of different things with earthquake safety, and tonight's episode is just kind of a wrap-up of things we have talked about, and some other things to kind of help get past those initial first few days of an earthquake and the aftershocks and all of the things you'll be dealing with. As time goes on, the weeks, the months after, some things for you to take into consideration and work on as you go. So without any further ado, we are going to get started with tonight's episode. We've got our call-in number up on the screen. It's 800-716-9841. Please feel free to call in at any time. We'll stop what we're doing and we'll talk, and we'll discuss the things that you want to discuss and talk about them the way that you would have them discussed, and answer any of your questions. We are going to continue this series of broadcasts. We will be on Monday nights at 7:30 every Monday night, and we'll broadcast mainly a safety message. And again, we're just thankful that you've been with us. So without any further ado, we're going to get started with tonight's episode of Living on Shaky Ground. All right. When it's safe, every one of us need to continue to follow your disaster preparedness plan. Remember, we talked about that in earlier weeks. Now, once you have met your family's needs, your immediate needs after an earthquake, continue to follow the plan you prepared in advance. That is so key and so important. Now, aftershocks will continue to happen for several weeks after a major earthquake. And so with that happening, some may be large, and they may be large enough to cause additional damage to your home or structure. So always be ready to drop, cover, and hold on, as we discussed in the previous weeks. Your recovery period can take several weeks to months, or even longer, depending on how much damage was done. The following items will help you to be safe and to minimize the long-term effects of the earthquake on your life, that's what we all want to do. We all want to get on with our life. It's been a year since Haiti, and they're still struggling. Now, in the first days after the earthquake, here are some things to consider. Use the information you put together in your disaster plan and the supplies that you organized in your disaster kits. Live off of those things. Work with those things. Now, do those things until you are sure there are no gas leaks. And until you are sure there are no gas leaks or open flames, don't light matches, candles, or grills, or even operate any electrical or mechanical device that can create a spark. Light switches, generators, motors, motor vehicles, and etc., those kind of things. So it's key for you to make sure you don't have any gas leaks. Never use the following indoors: camp stoves, gas lanterns or heaters, gas or charcoal grills, or gas generators. Keep those outside and run cords and cables inside to run things. Now, these can release deadly carbon monoxide or be a fire hazard in aftershocks. Carbon monoxide is a silent killer. We're going to have an episode about carbon monoxide. Now, be in communication. That is key. Turn on your portable or car radio for information and safety advisories. That is going to be one of the best ways for you to gain information and get the information as it's made available to the public. Place all the phones back on their cradles. Call your out-of-area contact, tell them of your status, and then stay off the phone. The reason for this is emergency responders need to use the phone lines for life-saving communications. And if everybody continues to use those phone lines, they'll be tied up and some critical calls may be missed. You should always check on the condition of your neighbors and friends. How about food and water? Now, if the power is off, plan meals to use up the refrigerated and frozen foods first. Now, if you keep the door closed in your freezer, food in the freezer could be good for a couple of days. It's amazing how well those are insulated. You should, again, listen to your radio for safety advisories. Now, if your water is off or unsafe, you can drink the water from your water heaters, from melted ice cubes, or even from canned vegetables. You should avoid drinking water from swimming pools or spas. There's a lot of chemicals and other things in there. Now, do not eat or drink from anything. Do not eat or drink anything from open containers that are shattered near glass. There may be glass shards in there that can cause internal injuries. So in the first week after the earthquake, this is a time of transition for everybody involved. Now, although aftershocks, we talked about that, they may continue, you'll now work toward getting your life and your home and your family and your routines back in order, putting the pieces of the puzzle back together, getting back to some stability. Now, emotional care and recovery are just as important as healing physical injuries and rebuilding a home. The emotions of a young one or something like that can be very, very important. So you need to make sure your home is safe to occupy and not in danger of collapse in aftershocks. Now, if you were able to remain in your home, or if you were able to return to it after a few days, you'll have a variety of tasks to accomplish, a lot of things to accomplish. If your gas was turned off, you'll need to contact the gas company and arrange for the gas company to come out and turn it back on. Don't just willy-nilly go and turn it on. They'll come out and check things out. If the electricity went off and then came back on, you should go through and check all of your appliances and electronics equipment, making sure that they are okay. Check them for damage. Power surges and things like that can break them. Now, if water lines have broken, look for water damage throughout your house. You should locate and or replace critical documents that may have been misplaced or damaged or destroyed. So it's important that you gather all of that stuff. And as the weeks prior to this, the time prior to this, jot those things down as they come to your mind. You should contact your insurance agent or company right away to begin that claims process. Now, another thing that will probably be going on is a federal help. So contact the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to find out about financial assistance that might be available to you. You can do that by visiting www.fema.gov about process. Now, if you can't stay in your home, remember last week we talked about a couple of things. I'm going to review those. If your home is structurally unsafe, or if it's threatened by a fire or any other hazard, you need to evacuate. You can't stay there. However, shelters might be overcrowded and initially lack basic services. So don't leave home just because utilities are out. We talked about that last week. So don't go if the services are out or if your home and its contents have suffered moderate damage. You still might be able to do that. Now, if you evacuate, tell a neighbor and your out-of-area contact where you're going. Make sure it's a neighbor that you trust. Now, as soon as possible, you need to set up an alternative mailing address with the post office. You should take the following, if possible, when you evacuate your home. You should take your personal disaster supply kits for your family, medications, and eyewear if you've got glasses. Take those things with you. A supply of water, food, and snacks for your family. Some blankets, some pillows, some air mattresses or sleeping pads. Those kind of things will make your stay more convenient and much more comfortable for you. A change of clothing and a jacket. A towel and a washcloth. You should take some diapers and food and other supplies for infants or for the elderly. When you think about that, that's a critical thing. You know, you should take a few family pictures or other comfort items. We've talked about almost all of these. Take some personal identification and copies of your household and health insurance information. Those things may be critical to have in hand. Here's some things you don't want to take to a shelter. First thing you don't want to do is you don't want to take your pets unless they are service animals for people with disabilities. Those are allowed. And if you do take a service animal, take food for them and have your plan for your pets, other pets, in advance. You should think about that. Now, large quantities of unnecessary clothing and other personal items, they're just not needed and they'll get in the way. So don't take those. Don't take valuables that might be lost, stolen, or take up needed space. Now, once a presidential declaration has been issued, FEMA may activate the Individuals and Households Program. It's at www.fema.gov/about/process. Now, this program includes the following. It includes home repair cash grants. Now, the maximum federal grant available as of 2005 was $26,200. That has probably gone up some. Housing assistance in the form of reimbursement for short-term lodging at a hotel is also available. Rental assistance for as long as 18 months in the form of cash payment. Now, if no other housing is available, FEMA may bring in mobile homes or some other temporary shelters and housings. Now, those are some very basic tips that we've talked about, and we've talked about a lot of these things previously. Now, once you have recovered from the earthquake, go back to step 1 that we talked about, the first week, and do the things that you did not do before, or do them more thoroughly. That was fix up your home. Learn what happened from the earthquake, so you'll be safer, and you'll recover quickly if there is a next time. Those are just some very basic and simple and honest things that you can do to prepare yourself and to prepare your family for earthquake preparedness and earthquake safety. We are so grateful that you've joined us, and we hope that you'll continue to pass along these videos to your friends and your family, and sit down with your friends and family and talk. You can contact your local fire department, your local CERT organization, to talk about emergency preparedness and emergency planning in the community. Again, this is Bob Fitzgerald for Brave Haven Media, and I just want to say thank you for joining us, and good night, and God bless. And remember, be smart, be safe, and be ready.